there. Now, it's a bug that hundreds of newborn babies in the UK catch every year. 1 in 20 infected babies dies, and dozens more are left mentally and physically disabled each year. Group B Strep, known as Strep B, led to the death of 27 babies in 2015 and is carried by around 1 in 4 pregnant women. This morning, new guidelines written for the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynaecologists recommends women in premature labour should receive antibiotics to prevent passing on infections to their children. Let's talk to Peter Brocklehurst, who is Professor of Women's Health at the University of Birmingham, and he also co-wrote the guidelines. In our Brighton studio, Jane Blump, Chief Executive of the charity Group B Strep Support, which she started with her husband when they lost their own baby more than 20 years ago. In Tunbridge Wells is Louisa Caroline Hines. Her son Logan spent 9 weeks in hospital after contracting Group B Strep meningitis. And in the Scottish Borders, Katie Noble, her daughter Ivy, developed Group B Strep infection after giving birth in September 2013. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Pete, thank you for coming on the programme. There is a child somewhere, and we welcome children on this programme, so you don't have to say shush. Let me start with you, Peter Brocklehurst, if I may. It seems so simple, that the new guidelines, that antibiotics should be given. Why hasn't it been done before?
Well, we're always trying to balance the potential risks of giving large numbers of women antibiotics to prevent a very few but very severe cases of this infection in neonates. And the problem here is, as you've just said, about 25% of women carry the bacteria. We have about 780,000 births a year, so that's a large number of women would require antibiotics to prevent what is very small numbers of cases. Okay. So we're always trying to balance the risks of the antibiotics versus the benefits that may bring from giving them. In this instance, we've reviewed new evidence about the incidence of Group B Strep infection in the neonate and decided that women who are in preterm labour, established preterm labour, are at sufficiently increased risk of contracting Group B Strep sepsis. And the babies, if they acquire the infection, are significantly more likely to die than babies born at term. And in that instance, we feel that the benefit of offering those women antibiotics outweighs the potential risks, and there will be hopefully benefits in terms of fewer infected babies and therefore fewer disabled and fewer dead babies as a consequence. OK.
Katie, tell us your story. Hello.
Hi there. Yeah, little Ivy was born at 34 weeks. It was all very, very quickly. We were in the hospital the 2 hours before she was born. It was only when she was 6 hours old that they realised she was struggling to breathe, she was grunting. And before that, everything was fine. I've got a little photograph of her with a feeding tube in. She was doing really well. But yeah, she deteriorated very quickly. Luckily, she was in the special care baby unit because she was born prematurely. So the doctors and nurses worked their magic and gave her the right antibiotics. She was born on Wednesday, the 25th of September, and on Friday, the 27th, we were told that she was the sickest baby in the hospital, and we weren't sure if she was going to survive that night. She was septic with the virus going through her body, through her bloodstream. She had this beginnings of pneumonia in her lungs and a small bleed to the brain, which was all connected with this virus.
Right. Now, fortunately, Ivy has made... Is that her? Is that Ivy?
No, that's Rosie. That's her big sister. Ivy's
that's Rosie. Tell Rosie she is welcome to come on the TV. We just saw a little bit of her there.
Come and see. Come and see. Here she comes. Ivy. Rosie's off school today. She's not feeling very well.
OK, well, Rosie, welcome to our programme. It's lovely to have you on. I hope you feel better soon. Ivy did make, fortunately, a good recovery. But had these guidelines been in place then, for you, what difference would it have made?
Oh, huge difference. I had no idea about the Group B Strep virus. And I think if I had been tested, I would have had the antibiotics during labour.
Yeah.
And it would have made a big difference. You know, Ivy wouldn't have had the virus and had to receive the antibiotics that she did.
OK.
And yeah.
Let me bring in Louisa. Hi, Louisa. Welcome
Hello.
to our programme. Logan spent 9 weeks in hospital, your son Logan, after contracting Group B Strep meningitis. Just describe for our audience how that affects a baby.
Well, he was just so lethargic. There was really sort of no life to him at the time, when I just thought he was very sleepy. I gave him a bottle which he promptly threw up, and did his temperature, and it was very, very high. At this point I didn't know what it was, but there was one thing that made me wonder, because he had a very bulging fontanelle. And that was one of the signs that alerted me, because I'd had a little card about meningitis from the GP. So luckily that made me think straight away it may be that. So obviously that alerted me to the effects of that.
But it is a horrendous disease, and I think the doctors thought that your little boy would not survive.
Yes, I had 6 doctors shaking their heads, just looking at me, and sort of they were just saying what a horrendous disease it was, and that was all that they could say. Literally, they were like that. And my husband turned up at the hospital just at that point, and it was horrendous.
Okay. And how is he now?
Perfect.
Hooray.
So, yes, he's a very, very strong boy, which is lovely.
Yeah, let me bring in Jane. Jane, Chief Executive of the charity Group B Strep Support. What do you think of these new guidelines? How much is this a step forward, would you say, from your point of view?
We think it's a massive step forward. We're delighted that Peter and his colleagues at the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynaecologists have done a major update of their Group B Strep guidance, and in particular not only offering antibiotics to all women who are in preterm labour, recommending that will make a big change, but what will also make a big change is the recommendation that all pregnant women should be given information about Group B Strep, because one of the things we hear time and time again is, sadly, the first time a woman hears about Group B Strep is when their baby is diagnosed with Group B Strep. So those 2 new recommendations, coupled with a recommendation that some women will be offered testing for Group B Strep during pregnancy, will, we think, make a sea change in terms of the prevention of more of these avoidable infections.
Okay. Peter Brocklehurst, final thought from you as the co-writer of these guidelines. Is this going to happen for all pregnant women from today forward, going forward?
Yes, clearly the guideline will be circulated amongst obstetricians and gynaecologists, midwives. They'll update their local guidance. They'll be able to implement this straight away. It'll clearly take a little bit of time to filter through everybody once they start work, but yes, it'll start having an impact immediately.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you too to Katie and Rosie Noble, and to Louisa Caroline Hines, I beg your pardon, and to Jane Bump as well. We appreciate your time. Thank you.